What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing part 1 of the Memories in Motion Great League Battle of Spies, featuring 12 of the most insane teams you will ever see winning in the Go Battle League. This is the first of 2 parts, which I will be aiming to get part 2 out tomorrow, but I'm going to need you guys to show your support because these videos take a very long time to put together, and a lot of the recent Battle of Spies videos, they haven't really performed that well, so make sure you hype the video, and if this video gets 600 likes within 24 hours, part 2 will be released tomorrow. But if we don't quite reach that milestone, you guys are going to have to wait until the next time the Great League comes back around. Also, if you have entered the competition and you don't see your battle featured here, there are a few of you that still haven't given me permission to view and download your submissions, so please double check your emails ASAP. Anyways, with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. Who is your favorite Pokemon Go PvP content creator, and what is your favorite video they've ever released? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so go into the first battle, leading with a level 50 Spritzy into Clefable. We're going to swap out straight away into a level 50 Spinarak, and unfortunately met with a Gourgeist, but we've got Night Slash for coverage. Night Slash is going to get the boost right off the bat. Unfortunately, it is just a single stage boost these days, but Night Slash number 2 now threatens a shield before they fully farm us down. Now, we're not in the best position here. Of course, Seed Bomb and Shadow Ball both going to hit for the super effective damage up against Sandygast, but we are on Astonish, so we might just look to double shield and then fully fast move farm them down. The opponent going for the extra Incinerate, realizing they can still throw one more and go for another charge move. They full send Shadow Ball this time around, but that does allow us to go for a full farm down. We are now down a shield, but we've got quite a lot of energy, and let's see, the opponent's going to come back in with Clefable, so we're going straight for Sand Tomb. Sand Tomb is going to grab the final shield from the opponent. The opponent gonna reach a charge move of their own. Sandygast able to tank the Meteor Mash, reaching a Shadow Ball, and now they are debuffed here. Shadow Ball gonna do big damage. It gets the KO, but their final Pokemon is going to be a Blastoise. Now, Spritzy is actually pretty bulky here. Of course, all shields are down. The opponent fires off the Hydro Cannon, which we are able to tank, but we end up losing CMP. We need to be able to survive a Hydro Cannon here, and Hydro Cannon does not get the KO. We've got a Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt also doesn't get the knockout, but it's a simultaneous KO. Sandygast still had a few HP, and so we're able to take that game. Into the next battle, we've got a triple Shadow Water team here, leading with Caracosta into Malamar. Now, we're on Water Gun. Water Gun, not the best fast move. I mean, neither is Rock Throw either, to be fair. But either way, going to go for a Body Slam straight away and able to grab a shield. We're now going to swap out as the opponent does have access to Superpower, which we don't really want to be hit by. So, we're going to shield, and they full send a Hyper Beam. That is crazy from the opponent. But now, we've expended, of course, a lot of their energy. They're going to come in with a Licky Licky, and you know what? The opponent going to full send a nuke. We might as well do the same thing here with our Shadow Politoed, so we're going straight for Blizzard. Are they going to shield here? Blizzard gonna connect. It still doesn't get the one shot as it is non-stab, but the opponent, in committing to a full farm down, allows us to reach another Weather Ball. Weather Ball gets the KO there. We're gonna look to swap out straight away, and they reveal their final Pokemon, a Shadow Drapion. We can once again go straight for the Body Slam here. Looks like that's a CMP tie as well, which is pretty huge for us. We can just safely no shield this. However, they bait with an Aquatel, and that puts us into range where they can perfectly Poison Sting farm us down before we reach another Body Slam. Of course, they've got a lot of energy now. We're going to come in with our Shadow Cloyster, and we're able to pull off the catch there. Honestly, the opponent should not be throwing after 3 Poison Stings up against a 3-turn fast move, but that puts us in a really good position. All we need to do now is shield, and the opponent, if they try and make a catch or anything, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be game over. The opponent realizing their mistake, and so they concede the match. Into the next battle, we've got a triple shiny team here with a level 50 Delcatty. Now, obviously, I'm not a fan of Charmers, and we've already had like 2 or 3 Charmers in the first few battles, but these are pretty spicy Pokemon, let's be fair. But anyways, we're going to swap out now into Jirachi. Very unlikely that they're running Earthquake, so if this is going to be a Sand Tomb, yes, it is super effective, but we can tank one. The next one, going to deal more damage, so we will shield, and hopefully, we can now just go for a full Confusion farm down. We get the full farm down, we come out with 100 energy, and of course, course, our charge moves are pretty deadly. They're going to come in with Licky Licky, and we've got a super effective Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere does just under half their HP, but we can go for the second one straight away, grab the first shield, and if they commit to a farm down, we are debuffed, but we still get their resisting rollouts, and of course, Aura Sphere number 3 grabs the final shield. We're going to swap into Zoroark, and honestly, we're probably just looking to sacrifice this thing. We're going to no shield, but the opponent baits with an Ice Punch. Are you kidding me? We can now go for Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb barely doesn't get the knockout, but that honestly might be even slightly better for us. This can mean we can come in with the Delcatty, get the Charm Farm down, and we probably don't need to shield here. We're going to let the first one go through. The opponent just goes for a Body Slam, so pretty unlikely that they've got something like an Earthquake or a Solar Beam or Hyper Beam. We're going to no shield once again, just another Body Slam. They realize we're reaching a charge move, and so they just concede the match. Now into the next battle, we have a Pidgey in the Go Battle League. I don't believe this is quite level 50, but it's like level 49 or something stupid like that. Either way, it's not exactly the hardest hitting Pokemon ever. As you can see, we are going for the buffed Twister this season, but even 2 Twisters, along with the fast move damage, doesn't really put a dent on that Talonflame's HP. We're going to come in with the Timber, but we can win CMP as for whatever reason, the opponent deciding to overfarm. Now we go for Break Break. Break Break is going to drop the defense there. They've got so much energy, but they full sent a Brave Bird. That seems quite overkill here, but they're now going to go for a Fly. We should just be able to fully low kick farm them down. Yeah, that is absolutely fine with us. And now they come in with a Credilli, which is a fine matchup for us. We could have thrown slightly earlier than this, but either way, going to go for a Brick Break. Brick Break, going to be no shield. It drops their defense, but unfortunately that is a CMP tie, but they bait with a Rock Tomb. Trainer, what are you doing? We can now go for another Brick Break here. Brick Break should be getting the KO. They're actually going to shield that, but unfortunately we're not able to swap out, but then they don't throw a charge move anyways. What's happening with this battle? And they had a Jellicent the whole time, which would have been a really good answer into our Timber, but we've actually got Crunch for coverage. Shadow Ball does big damage there, but we are firing off the Crunch. Crunch is going to hit for super effective damage. Crunch should be enough damage to get the 2-shot, and we're able to just barely outpace. Crunch number 2 gets the KO. We're able to take out the Jellicent, and we're able to take that game. Into the next battle, we're going to be leading Berserker into Altari. Now, it is worth mentioning, as you've probably already seen, a lot of these battles are done at like really low elo, or even just not having an elo at all. They're at like rank 20 or below. Do bear in mind, like the Battle of Spice was done fairly early in the season, so a lot of people just aren't hardcore players that are grinding out the Go Battle League every single day. So there are just a lot of people that are fairly low rank still. But either way, there's still going to be some pretty good gameplay throughout. So either way, we're going to go for a no shield here. The opponent baited last time, and unfortunately this time they do full send the Flamethrower. Now unfortunately our Haxorus is going to be on counter rather than Dragon Tail, so hitting for resisted damage. We are going to get a huge farm down, but at the cost of having basically no HP remaining. Now the opponent's going to come in with Empoleon. We're going straight for Night Slash. Night Slash going to be no shielded, but we get the boost, and again that is just a single stage boost this time around. We go for a second one. We're staying in, and the opponent, if they just wait to see what comes in, they could have gone for Drill Peck. Easily got the one shot as it's double super effective, but they blind throw the Hydro Cannon, and we are definitely going to capitalize as their final Pokemon is going to be a Dunsparce, and we completely wall this thing. The opponent goes for Drill Run. That's resisted damage. If they went for Rock Slide, also resisted. We've got back-to-back upper hands. First one, huge damage. I believe that also dropped the defense there. Doesn't really make a difference. Second one gets the KO with a defense drop or not, and we're able to take that game. Into the next battle, we're going to see a triple level 50 team, or at least I believe the Shadow Lampent is going to be slightly excelled. Either way, we're going to swap out straight away into Shadow Joltik. We're going to tank a Brutal Swing here. We are unfortunately lagging, and unfortunately that means we end up over-tapping. That is super frustrating. We're actually just going to fully sacrifice the Shadow Joltik. Okay, that was not ideal for us in the slightest there. Let's see if we can still somehow clutch out this game. Spoiler alert, all of these battles are going to be wins, so yes, I guess we will. But either way, we're going to chill the Brutal Swing here, and we are going to go for one more Astonish, fire off the Heat Wave. I believe they were at another charge move already, but we're going to grab a shield. The opponent looking to overfarm here, and then fire off another Brutal Swing. We're going to shield as the opponent is now going to swap out into a Shadow Quagsire. We banked the move. We're actually running Razor Leaf on our Pumpkaboo. So the opponent going to go for Stone Stone Edge. That does decent damage, but we get the full fast move farm down. They're going to come in with their final Pokemon, which is going to be a Jellicent, and we can force a CMP tie. Now, we did have the energy for a Grass Knot. We settled for foul play, but we end up grabbing the final shield anyways, and that should just guarantee the win. As long as the opponent doesn't make a catch here, we should be looking fine. We're going to throw the Energy Ball just before they reach the next charge move. Energy Ball, super effective. It gets the KO. One more Astonish, farms down the Galarian Weezing, and we're able to take that game. Into the next battle, another triple shiny team here, leading with a low kick Electivire, which of course is above this season. Thundershock is still definitely way better for the Electivire, but I guess low kick does kind of help in this matchup where we can now deal neutral fast move pressure. The opponent going to go straight for the Aura Sphere, and unfortunately they are going to outpace us because low kick does generate energy fairly fast, but it's just not quite as fast as the Thundershock. Either way, we commit both shields, go for a full farm down, and the opponent's going to come in with Clefable. Going straight for Wild Charge. Wild Charge is going to grab a shield, and now we swap into a really cool shiny Chatot. We're going to no shield, of course, all shields are down. Meteor Mash does huge damage there. We can barely reach a charge move. I don't know which move is better. Maybe Nightshade and Heat Wave both deal the same damage. Either way, they're both non-stab, and they get them fairly low. Now, we've only seen Meteor Mash so far, so hopefully if this is another Meteor Mash, it is resisted and we can tank it. So we're going to bank a Wild Charge, then swap Snipe with the Shadow Murkrow, and this should be game over. We can, of course, go for Drill Peck here. Drill Peck should be grabbing the final shield, and by the time the opponent throws a charge move here, I don't think a Seed Bomb will quite KO. So we're going to put them into range where Ice Punch certainly gets the KO. Honestly, we can maybe even go for a Wild Charge for the BM, but either way, Ice Punch is the safe play. It gets the KO, and we're able to take that game. Into the next battle, we've got Shadow Shiftry into Jellicent. Honestly, you can't ask for a much better lead than this. We, of course, have access to Snarl, have access to Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade, incredibly spammy, and it's able to grab a first shield. The opponent's going to swap out into Altaria. We can come in with Shadow Rampardos, but unfortunately, of course, Smackdown did get nerfed, and you don't really feel it too much with certain Pokemon. You kind of do with the Rampardos. As you can see, Dragon Breath nearly dealing as much fast move pressure as the Smackdowns when they're super effective, but the opponent's going to come back in with the Jellicent. We go for Rock Slide. Rock Slide doesn't quite KO, and they can fully farm us down there. Of course, with no Smackdown nerf, we actually get the farm down up against the Jellicent, but now we're forced to use our final shield, and the opponent's going to have Credilli as their final Pokemon. But obviously, Credilli users known for going for Rock Tomb. We can actually debuff the opponent there with a Rock Tomb, and then swap and catch the charge move as we catch a resisted Grass Knot onto our Shadow Shiftry. Now, I don't know if this necessarily helps us too much just because the opponent can now go for a full acid farm down, and they will still outpace us to the next Grass Knot. But they are debuffed. Grass Knot doesn't get the KO. We are resisting the fast move pressure, and we're able to reach another Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb gets the KO up against the Credilli, and we're able to take that game. Into the next battle, we've got the full Mr. Mime evolution line, I guess, with the Galarian variations there. I believe, once again, this Mime Jr. isn't quite level 50, but it is very high in the 40s. Either way, we're going to go for a Psyshock. Psyshock going to be shielded, and we can actually reach a second Psyshock before the opponent fully farms us down. So let's grab both shields from the Wigglytuff. We're now going to come in with the Galarian Mr. Mime. Going to no-shield the first charge move, as the opponent is going to go straight for Swift. We are probably going to have to shield the next charge move here, as the opponent is going to go for a second Swift there, but they're going to swap into a Jellicent, and we don't really have the best answers, of course, but we can go straight for Psychic. Psychic actually ends up dropping their defense, which is quite huge for us. That might allow us to shield once and then go for a full farm, especially since they full send the Shadow Ball. Now, I believe we've got Triple Axle and Icy Wind maybe as our charge moves here, and that is absolutely fine with us because they've got Altaria in the back. Both are so super effective, double super effective actually, nearly getting the one shot. We get the full Confusion farm down, and this time I believe going for the Triple Axle. I don't think it really matters which one we throw. We are going to get the KO with the Altaria, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we're going to see a Darumaka, which is an XL Pokemon, into Tentacruel. So not the best matchup for us. We swap into a Hex Banette, which is quite interesting. This Pokemon does also learn Shadow Claw, which Shadow Claw is just a better move than Hex. So interested as to why we are running Hex here. But either way, we're going to shield as they full send a Payback, and then allow us to pretty much fully fast move farm them down. They don't quite, they do swap out there. I don't know if they maybe banked a charge move. It looks like we get some stutter lag there. We don't quite hit the excellent, but it doesn't matter as the opponent ends up shielding anyways, and now they're going to farf a Sand Tomb. But speaking of fire, we come in with the Fire Fang Darumaka. We are dealing big damage with the fast moves. The opponent goes for Sand Tomb, but we fully farm them down, and the opponent's final Pokemon is going to be Gorgeist. That is not ideal as we are double weak to the ghost typing, but the opponent makes a huge mistake. They are over farming, but we've already got a Fire Punch loaded on Darumaka, and we will easily win CMP. So the opponent, if they don't try and make a catch here, it's game over as we have the Fire Punch locked and loaded. We win CMP like I mentioned. Fire Punch gets the KO. One more Fire Fang takes out the Tentacruel, which clearly did not have a charge we banked, and we're able to take that game. But into the next battle, we're going to see Shadow Cacturn into Morpeko. So this is actually a pretty similar team to one I showcased on the channel myself, with the Hydreigon in the lead and then Chandelure and Shadow Lampent in the back. Either way, we got the Dark and then Double Ghost backline. We're going straight for Trailblaze here after shielding the first charge move. Trailblaze going to be shielded as well. They swap into Sableye. We could have probably stayed in there with the Shadow Cacturn and dealt a ton of damage, but we end up swapping out and we force a CMP tie, which is huge for us because they could have just committed to a full Shadow Claw farm down, but now we come back in with the Shadow Cacturn and we can force yet another CMP tie, winning CMP. Trailblaze gets the KO. They're going to come back in with Morpeko, and they do have the charge we've loaded, but we're happy to no shield here. They full send the Aura Wheel, of course, boosting up their attack stat. We come in with Blacephalon, and the opponent doesn't even throw a Psychic Fangs. They're going to come in with the Corsola, and that is game over. We can, of course, full send the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball gets the one shot up against the bulky Corsola, and we're able to take that game. Now going into the final battle of this video, leading with a Kecleon into an Alolan Ninetales. This is not really ideal for us since we do have Sucker Punch, but we have access to Flamethrower, and Flamethrower, of course, maybe a bit of an unexpected move to run on the Kecleon. Hopefully they do just no shield. Flamethrower is going to be no shielded. It doesn't quite KO, but I believe that does put them into range where we can perfectly farm them down. The opponent does get the Powder Snow farm down, but Hawlucha comes in, gets the low kick farm down there, and they're going to come in with a Pelipper. Now, not the best matchup for us. We do have an electric type Pokemon in the back, so we go for Flying Press. Gotta be no shielded, and maybe we just sacrifice Hawlucha. Maybe we live this, but no, we don't, unfortunately. We come in with a Zapdos, and their final Pokemon is going to be a Lantern, which isn't ideal for us, but we are hitting for neutral damage here with the electric typing. We full send a Thunderbolt, and now, of course, we're going to have to shield everything they throw. The opponent can just settle for Surf here. Of course, these Sparks are going to add up slightly more than the Thunder Shocks over time, and unfortunately, we are now going to have to double shield. The opponent goes for Surf number 2. Thunderbolt from this range will come very close to getting the KO, so Thunderbolt is going to grab the final shield from the opponent. We are now going to look to overfarm ever so slightly here and going for another Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt will get the KO, and do we have enough HP and enough energy? Yes, we do. We win CMP here, reaching the last second Drill Peck, taking out the Pelipper, and we're able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Now, if you want to take your support to the next level, you can become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments of every video. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has become a channel member already. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.